In this video, we are going to discover the ways that shadow work can change your life, why it seems like you automatically like and dislike certain people, or why you react to some things impulsively without quite understanding the reason why. So if there's an emotional cycle that you just can't seem to break, or maybe you just want to gain some deeper awareness of your own levels of your personality, then this video is for you. Let's talk about the shadow. The shadow is a term that was coined by Carl Jung in 1945 as the thing that a person does not wish to be. But the aspect of the shadow has long been recognized by human race, long before Carl Jung had coined the archetype, the shadow. Quoted by Carl Jung himself, the shadow is a moral problem that challenges the whole ego personality. For no one can become conscious of the shadow without considerable moral effort. To become conscious of it, it involves recognizing the dark aspects of the personality at present in real. This act is the essential condition for any kind of self-knowledge. It is believed that most of your shadow comes from your childhood traumas and any needs that were not fulfilled. So maybe you were bullied at school, or you were neglected as a child, or you experienced levels of abuse. In the world of psychotherapy and philosophy, this is commonly known as the inner child, and you might have heard of inner child healing, and it has a similar concept as healing the shadow and integrating it into your life. Many believe that the shadow only comes from your childhood traumas, but I myself, along with others, also believe that you can develop more of the shadow as you experience different traumatic experiences in your adult life. In essence, the shadow is a collection of parts of our personality and our traits and characteristics that we have repressed and rejected, and it lives in the recesses of our minds, in the depths of our subconscious. Many parts of our shadow is totally unconscious as they've been pushed so deep down, but whether we are conscious of them or not, they do affect our day-to-day actions, the thought patterns that we have, and how we react to our environment. Our shadows affect our personality, our identity, which is who we believe we are, and even our personas, which is how we present ourselves to the world. The shadow is a major cause for what we like and we don't like in people, in our preconceived judgments that we may have on impulse. A lot of that comes from our shadow and our golden shadow. So we have the shadow and we have the golden shadow archetype. We will talk more about the golden shadow in the next video. To sum up what the golden shadow archetype is basically our repressed strengths that we have living where our shadow lives as well, and that we feel like we cannot achieve it or we do not associate ourselves with. But we will dive more in depth on the golden shadow and how you can unlock and harness the power of your golden shadow. So we talked about the shadow being a cause for what we like and we don't like in someone. What we end up not liking in someone, these are called projections, and this is another Jungian term. What we don't like in others is usually what we don't like in ourselves. Our subconscious mind has repressed these traits and characteristics so deep within our subconscious that we do not align and associate ourselves with them. But the subconscious mind wants to heal from these traumas, so they project these traits onto others, and it's easy for us to see through others what we cannot see in ourselves. So most of the time when we find these quick impulsive reactions on someone, it is almost always the case that we are rejecting that part of our own personalities. It can be very difficult for us to recognize our own shadow, but if we don't make the unconscious conscious and we don't bring the darkness to light, that darkness can only get angrier, stronger, and darker. These unhealed parts of our personality, they show up in our lives through conditions like anxiety and depression, physical ailments, and even addictions. What is repressed never stays repressed. To improve the self, we cannot leave any part of our self unconscious, because what is unconscious takes control of our daily conscious activities, thoughts, and behaviors. When you think about it, the unconscious is in true control of our lives. When we can take what is unconscious and dark and bring it to light and heal it, we can truly transform our lives. It takes a lot of strength, courage and effort to dig down and expose these difficult parts of our personalities and heal from these traumas to really make this change in our lives. When we understand where our shadow comes from and we accept it and we practice self-love, self-compassion, and self-acceptance, then we can truly remove these blocks that affect our lives on a daily basis and allow a path of least resistance. It allows us to understand on a much deeper level our own emotions, reactions, and impulses, and then we can choose whether we want to act on them. We can use the observer side of our personality to choose whether we want to react. When we really understand where these emotions come from and where they stem from, we gain control back over our own lives. There are so many benefits from healing the shadows that I just want to go ahead and list some of these out for you guys. So it allows us to live more fulfilling lives and a deeper authenticity of ourselves. We have far more clarity on why we react to things the way that we do. We have a much deeper control of our impulses and our responses. It helps us remove the blocks from achieving the version of ourselves that we want to be, while increasing our self-awareness and our emotional healing. We have improved self-confidence, better relationships, and we have no more self-sabotage. We can live the lives that we really truly believe that we should be living and that we envision ourselves living. But the first step to doing so is to bringing the unconscious into the light and making it conscious, and integrating every aspect of ourselves and our soul into our lives. Not just the aspects that we want to be and we think that the society believes that we should be, but every part of our being, and integrating it as a whole. With that being said, let's break down 5 steps that you can use today to start bringing your shadow to light. Now keep in mind that your whole shadow is not going to come to you in one session or not even in 1 year. Throughout your life, you will continuously uncover different levels of your shadow. More realizations will come to life and you'll become more and more your authentic self. And keep in mind that if you want to make a real change, then you have to do the deep inner work. It's not something where you can just watch a video and be healed. It takes time, effort, and deep self-acceptance to really heal. We are in a world where everything has to be a quick fix, an instantaneous answer. I cannot give you a method that is just going to throw a band-aid on and call you healed. My main goal is I want to see you healed and transformed so you can actually see your desires start to manifest. So let's do this. Let's break down the 5 steps that you can start today so that you can heal and bring your inner shadow to life. The first thing that you'll want to do is take out something to write with and write down different traits and actions that causes a emotional and psychological trigger within you. Once you have a decent list going, go ahead and pick any one of these traits and start reflecting back on yourself with this trait. Look at your past thought patterns and analyze your behaviors. And remember, you have to be truly, openly honest and vulnerable with yourself. If you are not honest with yourself, then you cannot heal. You can also try writing down any moments that you're feeling anxiety, envy, jealousy, anger, aggression towards someone else, and in what moment exactly that brought out this emotion and this reaction. We will use this to help identify different repressed fears, traumas, and psychological triggers. Next, we're going to analyze where this behavior started. So maybe you have a fear of abandonment because your parents left when you were a child, or you have a lack of confidence because you were bullied at school. Maybe you have social anxiety because you were left out in groups as a kid. When we have narrowed down where these emotions and these behaviors started, we can then sit and visualize ourselves having an inner dialogue with that version of ourselves and being completely open, honest, and vulnerable, and most importantly, practicing self-acceptance. So we're going to imagine ourselves having this inner dialogue with this version of ourselves that had this traumatic experience. We're going to ask ourselves questions like, how did that make you feel? What would you have liked to have done in that situation if you had the different skills and abilities that we have now? How has it affected your relationships? Listen to everything that that version of yourself has to say, and then we're going to work to transform the situation into something more healing and positive. So what we're going to do is we're going to step into the situation where this traumatic experience happened, and we're going to play it out, and we are going to change it to the way that we would have preferred that it played out. The cool thing about the unconscious is it doesn't know how to tell the difference between imagination and reality. So when we can go into these situations and these scenarios, we don't even have to replay it exactly how it went out. We can change how it happened. We can approach these situations with this new knowledge and understanding, these skills and abilities that we have today that we didn't have when we were a child or when we were in this past version of ourselves. What we're doing here is basically turning these situations into something positive. We are finding the light that is inside of each trait that we deem negative, and we are basically turning the darkness into light. To give you some examples, we could turn fear into courage, fear of abandonment into passionate love, and even aggression into resilience. There's always a light side to every dark side. They serve us for a reason. They've evolved into our own survivalist toolkit for a reason. So what is that light that is hiding inside of each of your shadow's characteristics? How have they served you to this day? And how can you transform their darkness into light? Where we choose, and we're actively choosing with our conscious mind, how we react to situations when these emotional triggers occur. Our last step is going to be integrating the shadow into our daily lives. When we integrate the shadow, we are actively choosing not to reject it anymore and accepting it as part of ourselves, as part of our being as a whole. You will be integrating the wisdom that you have encountered through these different traumatic experiences and these traits that you have gained through these experiences. You are moving through life now with a deeper understanding of why you react to certain triggers, in whether it's in people or your environment, and why you react the way you do. And once you have that understanding, it becomes far easier to gain control back over your own life. Through understanding your triggers and accepting them, a lot of times those triggers may even dissolve, but it's through the knowledge, the understanding, and the acceptance that we can really release what does not serve us, and to gain control over what is inherently a part of us, and to find the light inside of each and every trait that we can use its infinite wisdom. So we know about the shadow, but what is the golden shadow, and how can we unlock its powerful attributes? In this next video I have linked on the screen for you, we are going to talk all about the golden shadow and how we can dive deep and make a real transformation. We are not just bringing the darkness to light, we are excavating for gold. I will see you over there. Stay blue, guys.